Welcome to a Drop Tent Media production.
Hey, what's up? Today on Seriously Dad, we have Gaspar Randazzo, New York City native. We're talking about the Scouts, we're talking about camp, and there's a couple inappropriate jokes in there. Enjoy Seriously Dad.
Seriously, Dad.
Seriously, Dad. Two father comedians out of Philadelphia. Seriously, Dad.
Dad.
Seriously, Dad.
Seriously. Seriously.
So we have remote coming all the way from Staten Island, a good buddy of mine, Gaspar Randazzo.
Using the technology.
That's right. How you doing, Gaspar?
I'm doing good. How you guys doing?
It's a lazy Sunday for me, but you have big plans today. We moved up a little bit. What do you got going on?
Well, first
today?
off, there's no such thing as a lazy Sunday because I have a 6 and a 3-year-old. So this was a more than ever work Sunday, which started off, but I tried like dozing off on the couch at like 7 a.m. because my daughter was up at 5, and she took a thermometer and shoved it down my throat while I was half awake. So like I was like jolted awake. So
That's a 3-year-old did that?
yeah, that's the 3-year-old. She was
Wow,
checking my
okay.
temperature.
Yeah, that's a good doctor. She could have done. She could have went the other way. So,
So no, and well, the shitty part is it was a rectal thermometer. So, no, but no. So yes, there's no lazy Sunday, but you know it's all good. We went to. We've been running around all day, and we had tonight. We have our first Boy Scouts hike for my
man.
son starting Boy Scouts tonight.
Now, is it called Cub Scouts at this point, or is it?
Yes,
good point.
he's a Cub Scout. I think you become a boy in first grade.
Yeah,
A Boy
when did
Scout.
Pinocchio become a boy? No,
Roughly around the same time he became a scout.
I never made it out of Cub Scouts. I'll be honest.
I never made it in Cub Scout. I never
Yeah,
made
no?
it in the Scout door. We went to the meeting once.
The
Mom
meeting
took us
is
to-
where it's at.
My mom took us to the
They're
meeting.
cookies and lemonade,
And they were like wanted to do all this stuff, and I just wasn't.
and
didn't
you know
dig it.
the sales aren't as appealing. Like the Girl Scouts are selling cookies. You know what the Boy Scouts sell?
No.
False presidency hopes.
Yeah, right. Yeah, popcorn.
Oh, do they?
Popcorn, but it's like $1 million popcorn. Like
It's like the gourmet
Oh.
shit, right? Like,
yeah, but like the cookies, one are amazing, two reasonably
$4.
priced. Yeah, they're reasonably priced. You're getting like good bang for your buck.
in my history on this planet, I've never seen a group of Boy Scouts being like, "Hey, Mister, you want some popcorn?"
No, I don't.
I know.
Where do they sell it, Jay? I never even heard of that.
I think they're more of like nobody wants to stand outside like the Girl Scouts do. So I think they just go family and friends. I think they're
Right.
just like.
But I don't think the Girl Scouts even
Oh, it's an
stand
MLM.
outside anymore.
It's an
I
MLM.
think the Girl Scouts do. I've seen girls like packs of Girl Scouts.
Oh, yeah.
Like, hey, they come running up to you and they try to.
they're
You know-
always outside cafe. I see them.
I was
outside
gonna
the Turkey
say,
Hill,
yeah,
like
diners
diners,
and shit. Yeah,
And they're hitting you up for the
supermarkets.
cookies. Yeah,
Yeah.
I could see that. Well, it's funny.
I
'cause
always go in the opposite end. You know.
we went to the orientation on Friday, and I took my son thinking it was going to be like meeting number 1, and we like walked in, and it was an informational meeting. So the guy just had pamphlets, and my son's like, Boy Scouts is boring. And I'm like, no, this is boring. I'm with you. This
how
kind of
life works.
sucks.
The first meeting.
You got to learn how to survive. These are the survival skills. How do
And
you
the-
survive boring meetings?
Well, and that's the thing. And the guy's like, oh, and here you go, kid. This is for you. And he showed him like a binder. And he's like, everything in this binder can be yours. My son's like, I can't read. Like,
so today's the actual first meeting.
it's not a meeting.
Fucking
So
hike, bro.
it's just a hike. They were like, hey, you guys want to hike on Sunday? So I was like, sure. So then I thought like we were going to like walk through up a mountain. We're just walking on the side of a highway. So
that
it's
doesn't
like-
scare. That doesn't like. I don't know. Side of the highway. That's kind of.
Well, it's like, it's a safe highway.
It's a safe
Is
highway.
there sidewalks on this highway?
It's not like a highway. It's just a big road.
It's a big road. It's
With
Staten
buses.
Island.
Before you
That's
do
right.
mountains, you have to know what
the highway.
homelessness situation is like. They're prepared.
Yeah, I think
I mean,
he'll-
what is it like? What are boys like when you're Cub Scout, Boy Scout? Like, is it you like learning to like live in nature?
There's always
No.
like
service
every
related?
meeting's like it was something, either
Skill.
some kind of skill, and you earned a badge at the end. So maybe an expert came in, or if a parent was good at something, they would do the like little teach lesson. Then there'd be an activity for you to do, and then once you completed that activity, you
You get a
got one of the
badge,
badges.
right?
So they'd be
You
like,
get a
today we're
sachet
gonna
full of
tie-
badges.
Today we're going to tie knots. Who wants to learn how to make a square knot? So you just tie knots for an hour, and then you're like, you're a knot expert now.
Here's
Okay.
a
I still
badge.
remember. remember one thing. We went camping, and the guy was like, he was a knife expert, and he's like, "What's the proper way to hold the knife when you're gonna throw it?" So me and my friend, we're like, I'm holding it one way, he's holding it another. We're lining it up like, this is how you do it. And he's like, he grabbed the knife from us. He's like, "You never throw a knife."
Throw it, yeah.
And he was dead serious. And I was like, "Oh
Wow,
shit!"
wow, he-
And like, I think we didn't get our badge.
misdirection. Hit you with a little misdirection. He's like,
And now
Like I was like, "This is so misleading. Why did you ask?"
yeah. He probably got fired. He probably lost his job for that.
and now they have
Yeah,
axe
dude.
throwing everywhere. So this is
Yeah.
like, you know.
Wait, but Jay, did you become a man scout?
So I was so close to being a man scout, but
What is a man? What
a
do we
man.
call it?
Just when you continue being a Boy Scout
So
forever.
you're a grown-up Boy Scout?
So at
When
this
Pride
point,
No.
Stay Boy
Pride
Scouting.
Month. No.
yeah,
No.
Pride Month's over. There's no man.
Is that
scout.
really what it is called though? Is it called a man?
No,
like,
it's
I think
it's
once you,
not.
I can't imagine being 17, still a Boy Scout, and you're like, "Hey, I'm a Boy Scout." Right? Now you're a man scout.
That's when the eagle comes in, right?
So,
But you
fun-
don't become the eagle. There's a lot to do to be an eagle.
Well,
you gotta
not,
like
not-
fly
not
a plane.
necessarily. Not necessarily.
Your pilot
I,
flies it?
I stopped probably around 12, the Weeblos or whatever those were. And then I kid you not, in the 90s, I got sent a letter from the United States White House, and President Clinton had signed that congratulating me on earning an Eagle Scout.
I mean, that means you're an Eagle Scout.
That-
That
I-
means you
it's an
are
I
executive
think on
order,
paper,
You
right?
could
you
put that on
probably
a resume. Yeah, totally.
Could I?
Okay, I just looked it up because I was I was worried. Jay, it's actually possible that you did become an Eagle Scout. Most scouts take between 4 to 6 years to achieve the Eagle Scout rank.
So maybe so if he says I am,
If the
am.
president says it, it's real.
That's real.
what it
So
is.
that's-
Listen, we
I
get
should-
it. We'll intro that next time we bring you up on stage. Enough.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
let
Can
it
that be
go.
my new
From his
Fred?
podcast.
Here
God.
comes Eagle Scout Jay
Yo,
Yoder.
did you do the race card, the Pine Box Derby, or
Oh,
whatever?
that was
Pinewood
that was I was
Derby.
gonna say. Isn't that that's like the culmination of like that's like the
That's
cool
like the
thing you do.
pinnacle of being a Boy Scout.
Right.
Like
So
you
Revolution
carve
Derby of
that
Boy
wood
Scouts.
And
and you paint it and you put wheels on it and like there's nothing better.
Doesn't it just go down like a ramp and then stop?
Well, no, it's like so in Pottstown they actually have a hill that they use for it, and then if you win it, they have the banners. So as you drive down the street, it's like right next to a cemetery, so it's very morbid. But all of the banners are all of the past winners of the Derby
Pine
race, so you get like serious street cred.
Isn't there one where you like get in the car? Because there's
Well,
like
yeah,
a
you get in
little,
the
there's
car.
like
That's
a little
boxcar
car.
racing.
Yeah,
That's
Oh.
boxcar racing. Because there's a little one where
Oh,
you
there's
just like
the
put it on
little
the
one,
ramp
like
and it
the
goes.
toy one.
And then there's one where you like build a car and get in.
We
it,
did
right?
boat ones. In mine, we did boat ones.
We did boat, cardboard boat.
Yep, we did the boat. You did cardboard. I think we
And
used
you got
real wood.
in it.
I got in it. I was the smallest scout. Oh no, that was in summer camp. We did it, and I won an award that I think I still have. I'm looking around my room. I think I still have it. I got the award for best sinking. I sunk like the Titanic. I got in. People were so you had to put cardboard, but people were like lacing it with bottles and stuff to keep it afloat. We went straight cardboard. I was light enough with the belief that I could just stay afloat on the cardboard and
Right.
row, and we didn't need the extra weight. And as soon as I got in, my boat cracked on both sides and I sunk in the middle of the
You get a
ocean.
badge for that. You got a badge for sinking.
I got a
Yeah.
badge for sink. It wasn't Boy Scouts, it was camp. So like they didn't care.
They were like, we
See,
got to
that's what I
give
did. I did
everybody
camp.
an award.
I went to camp when I was younger.
What,
And we were
stay
out,
away?
and we were out. Yeah, we were outside a lot. So building fires and hiking and all that stuff. But yeah, I went to camp,
But so you-
Sleepaway
you were
camp
the-
or
sleepaway camp.
oh
Yeah.
shoot.
Yeah,
that
I
was
spent
like
a lot
my
of time in the
dream.
woods. I like being in the woods. I dig the woods. I
So
like the
how
woods better
how
than
how
the
it was
beach.
like 2 weeks? Like how long were you?
Oh
at it?
I would be there for like an entire summer.
Wow,
My
Because
dream
for
was
my mom, it
sleepaway
easy
camp.
because that was like someone to watch me.
that's
You
true.
know, it's like okay, you don't have to worry.
Now,
about
was it
what
co-ed
Alba's
or just
doing.
boys?
It's co-ed.
Look at him.
It
He's
was
like
like-
co-ed.
oh, yeah.
He's like
With the
co-ed.
quickness.
And would they
It's like
serve
we
you
had-
guys breakfast, lunch, and dinner? And
It
you
was
just
breakfast, lunch, and dinner. We had a place where we go get candy and stuff. We swam. There were horses there. There was adventure stuff. It was fucking.
that must have been the coolest experience. Like I always, because keep in mind, like 90s, like Nickelodeon was like all about
Yeah,
like
Hey Dude.
summer
Salute,
camp
salute
and
your shorts.
Bug Juice. Remember that show, Bug
Yes,
Juice or
yeah.
something?
Hey
like-
Dude, what was Hey Dude?
Hey
That
Dude
that
was the
like-
ranch.
Yeah,
That was the
And
ranch
Salute
one.
Your Shorts. That was like Camp
Salute your
Anawana.
shorts was, but I didn't bug juice. I didn't.
That was a cartoon, wasn't it?
Yeah, Bug Juice was no, it wasn't a cartoon. I don't know. It was about the summer camp. And what about what was that movie with Ben Stiller? Heavyweights.
Oh,
Was it
heavy-
Fat Camp or something?
Heavyweights
was on,
'cause they
yeah.
were-
And like, so those movies, I was like, I want to go to away camp. But I look back, like, so we had my son's camp orientation yesterday. We dropped him off. It was orientation, just a week of orientation. So we dropped him off at orientation. We went with him. We met the counselors. We met, the other campers. It was cool. They were like, this is what the procedure is. I look back, I went to camp in Pennsylvania growing up. We had a house in Pennsylvania. We would drive up June 29th, the last day of school. I think camp started June 30th. There was no orientation. I was in another state. My parents pulled up to the camp. They were like, have fun.
See ya.
And I
Yeah,
saw
right.
them, at the end of the day, and I just got along. So my wife's freaking out because she's like, he doesn't know anybody. What's he gonna do? Because in today's world, those are all legit
Like,
concerns.
Yeah.
When we were kids, those weren't concerns. You were just
No.
dropped off and you
just-
figured it out.
Yeah.
I mean, that's one of the things that kids have over. They will just make friends. They'll be like,
Oh, yeah.
you
My son's
you
like, I
the
can't
color
wait to meet
blue?
new
So do
people.
I. Yeah, they'll just make friends. Well, the cool thing for me at camp was there was people that you wouldn't see unless they were at camp. So you'd see someone in the summertime, and then you'd go all year, you wouldn't see them.
Me too.
Did you
yeah.
ever write? Did you ever write any of them? Sometimes I had.
Every once in a while,
Now
yeah.
it was
but,
only
you know,
usually
it's-
girls, but like if, you
Yeah.
know, you get
Well, we had instant mess AOL.
AOL 2.0.
So a couple of families had the internet, so you could be like, "Hey, man, are you going to be at camp?"
Oh,
and then
yeah.
you would just go there and you would see him again and have a really good time, and then you would not see him. It was
But it's crazy. You're right. Like that's life before like internet. Like all these kids today, they would like. My son's young, so he doesn't have it. But like, if you went to camp, then you just exchange Instagrams
social
and then
media.
you
Oh, yeah.
follow each other all year. Like
Yeah.
I didn't even remember these kids existed, so I went to camp again the following year,
Yep.
and I was like, "Oh shit, Albert! I forgot
I'm like,
about
oh,
you, man.
Oh shit,
How
you're
you
8
been?"
inches taller than because that's the
Yeah.
other thing. Everyone's growing and shit. It's like, oh my god, you're a giant now. Or
That's
you-
kind of cool when you
Yeah.
see people.
I
like
forgot
that.
about that feeling. And then I
Yeah.
remember like around 7th or 8th grade where like AIM started becoming a thing.
Dude,
And
so
I remember
yes.
like getting like a random message. And it's like, hey, it's Mike from camp.
camp.
And I'm like, yo,
Yo, bro,
whoa,
what's up?
Mike, like, how'd you get this?
How'd you get these credentials, Mike? You
and he's
weirdo.
like, you gave them to me on the last day. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh shit, I guess so.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
it's
camp,
crazy.
Camp is cool. The one thing though that it's like the darker side of all this, like, and now I'm going to take it to a darker area. Sometimes, like you hear the horrible stories of things that happen to kids, like at camp,
Of course,
or
yeah.
like scouts or something like that. And it's like, oh yeah, camp master or counselor so and so did X, Y, and Z, and it's kind of like, oh shit, you know what I mean? Now, in my time in camp, I've never experienced or knew anyone who's experienced it.
Me
Yeah,
neither.
but-
But it does happen
It
because at the
definitely
end of
does
the
happen.
day, there's
Yeah.
sickos everywhere. I mean,
Yeah,
that's the reality
ruins
of
it for everybody. Yep.
you know, because like that's look at Boy Scout, altar servers. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like there's millions of altar servers, but then there's a few stories, a lot of stories, unfortunately,
Yeah.
and then it ruins it. Because my wife's even like, I don't ever want him to go to Boy Scouts alone. I don't ever want him to go on the camping trip. And I'm like, but I did all that, and I never had one.
Yeah,
I mean, knock
Yeah.
on wood, God forbid, but you know what I mean? Like you're right. It's the bad connotation just ruins it for everybody.
Because like I hear Boy Scouts, and in the back of my, I cringe a little bit. I go, oh boy,
There's
Yeah.
a
just little
blemish
bit
there.
because-
There's a blemish there.
Yeah,
that
and
you
it's
can't
like-
not think about.
right. And then you got like this thing like the Eagle Scouts, which is like a very prestigious thing that you get at the end of your Boy Scout career. But even though you hear that and you think, oh boy, to get that you had to have been a Boy Scout, and part of me kind of goes like, oh shit, that's kind of weird. You know what I mean?
Like you were a Boy Scout through your 20s. Like,
You're a man scout now. You've become a man scout.
Yeah, we should start the Man Scouts. I don't know. We'd probably get arrested.
I know that. Okay, I'm gonna tell you there is a thing. I don't know if it's called the Man Scouts, but I won't even. I'm not even gonna tell you who it is. It's not me. I won't tell you who. Someone
My
I
friends
know.
in the Man Scout. I'm not though.
Someone I know. Jay, you know him as well. He'll kill me if I tell anybody who it is. So I'll tell you off air. He joined it's essentially Boy Scouts for adults. And
Okay.
like he was like, when you do certain things, you get badges. I was like, oh, you mean like just do them because you want to learn? Like if I personally want to learn how to tie a knot, I'll just Google it and learn how to tie a knot. I don't need a little tiny badge in the mail sent to me.
and six other
and-
adults in the room helping
And
you.
he said they met virtually to hold each other like accountable. So like one of them was like, but the truth is it was kind of cool. One of them was like a workout goal. So they were like, everybody, let's push each other to do 30 push-ups a day. So everyone would film it and you'd put it in a Dropbox you doing 30 push-ups. I was like, just film yourself once, change your shirt, right? And just
Change the
send it in.
background, green screen that shit.
But like, he said like it was things like that, or it was like all of the guys like challenged each other to go out and take a 20-minute walk. So like, I was like, it's kind of cool, but like, but he paid for it. He paid like a monthly subscription.
I mean, you could do that with just a group of buddies from work. can't
and
you?
that's what I said to him.
Yeah.
I was like, go on, Grinder and just looking for.
Well, they have camp for grown-ups.
Oh, I've seen that. My
So, like,
wife,
you can
I
get-
think she'd be against me going.
Yeah, like you could do, like people will do that for their vacation. They'll go to camp for grown-ups. Like
Really?
yeah, so instead of like s'mores and beers at the fire, they probably do
I feel
shit like
if,
that and
if
like
people just want to swing, just let them swing. We
Well,
don't
that's
need
what it
all
is.
these.
But that's what it is.
It's-
Like no one's going there. Like me and my wife aren't like, I really missed out on the camp experience. Let's play kickball all day. Like,
Yeah,
Yeah.
let's play kickball and then
s'mores.
eat in the mess hall. It'll
yeah,
be
yeah,
great.
exactly. Yeah,
it would be. I mean, but I could
uncomfortable
see.
bunks.
Think about like being like single in your 20s and going to a place where everyone's single in their 20s and you sleep there and it's like a
drunk.
bar.
Like a hostel in Europe.
It's
Yeah,
called
yeah.
it's called Temptations 2. It's all,
Is that like what hedonism is and
Yeah.
shit?
Wait,
That's
actually, I
right,
think
yeah.
that's
those
just
are
called
adults. Yeah.
being an adult.
Yeah.
Because you can just do that shit. Like the only
Well,
reason
because-
camp was fun is because you couldn't do all those things.
Yeah.
I will have you know that I was part of a group that won a contest at camp for lip syncing "Bye Bye Bye." by NSYNC, so.
Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
In the Jewish
Cats-
community, sleepaway camps is really
No,
big.
huge.
You go to Catskills in the summertime?
Yes.
Yeah.
I-
A lot.
I would say the
Lots.
first
Dirty
couple
dancing.
girls that I had like kissed or hooked up with were Jewish girls at camp.
I can't, yeah. Well, isn't Miss Maisel, and she always going to camp? Isn't it?
Oh,
Isn't
Miss
she does?
Maisel.
Yeah,
Something
bro.
just happened.
Yeah.
Something terrible just happened. I think. No,
Maisel.
I
will
never
say that
watched Miss Maisel.
She's so
I
good.
only parts of it. Only parts of it.
She's
My
good.
timeline for trying to meet a someone who I like wanted to date in camp never worked out. I was too shy. So I would just get up the confidence to actually talk to
And
the
then
girl
it was time to go home?
right at the end. Every
Well, that's
once
the
in a-
other thing. Like, you could spend the whole summer like liking somebody, and then if you didn't make a move, that's it. It's over.
Done.
Camp's over.
What was the one show on Netflix was fucking great? It had everybody in it. And it was about camp, and they all like go back to camp.
Grandpa,
Oh,
let's figure
It's
this
the one
out.
where
Hold on.
it's the one where Detective Stabler's in it. And he bangs a refrigerator. He's like
you're
crazy.
thinking of summer.
Steamy Hot Summer or something. Is it
Yeah,
something like
yeah,
that?
wet hot American summer. You're thinking of the wet
that shit
hot
was
American
great. That
summer.
was like one of the first things I ever saw on
Very,
Netflix.
very
I was
fun.
like, Netflix is fucking
Very, very
awesome.
fun
I've
series.
never seen.
I never
that.
saw it.
That's
Paul
good.
Rudd. It's got the whole
It's got
crew
everything in
of
it,
giant. Yeah, there's. I
Yeah.
think Faye is in there, or Help Rat, or
Yeah,
one of
she's
the.
in it. Yeah,
Great,
everybody's
great.
in it.
Yeah, very fun. But I didn't know you meant like something made by adults. I thought you were talking about something for kids. But great show. Yeah,
Yeah, it was a really,
definitely
really
very
good
fun.
show.
Is Lainey in Girl Scouts?
Lainey is not in Girl Scouts. I don't know if Lainey will be in Girl Scouts.
Yeah.
I think right now, I think Lainey's trajectory is like sports. So I could say you're doing like sports related camps. I loved basketball camp when I was a kid. You ever do sports camp?
Oh
Yeah.
You sports camp?
Baseball,
Oh,
basketball.
I love sports
Baseball,
camp.
football,
I mean,
everything.
that was the time of year, man. I remember my boys would come to my house the night before the school bus took us to wherever we were going. We all had our shorts and our outfits, and we were trading shorts and sneakers and socks. And then you would just play basketball like 7 games in one day for
Yep.
like 4 days
We,
straight.
and we all got. I remember getting this big trunk. I think I still have it, like because everybody got a trunk, like, and then you like put all your stuff in the trunk. We shipped it out. Went to this place in the middle of nowhere in New York, and all I remember is jumping up in the middle of the night. People would be randomly jumping up from all the cramping. Like you'd be trying to
Yeah,
eat
yeah,
bloody
because- yeah, yeah.
bananas and drink water.
Yeah.
but you'd be like randomly somebody would be in the middle of the cabin, like jumping around because their calf went
Yeah.
up to their ass.
Right.
And like and then everybody else would be yelling at them to shut up and get back to bed. And then I remember I got a concussion. One day I got so many elbows to the head,
What sport is this you're playing?
basketball,
Okay.
that I
Beating
went,
up on Jack.
Golf.
went down hard, and they had to like take me away in an ambulance.
Jesus.
Oh wow.
Because I had a concussion, and but it was like in the middle of nowhere. So they like I was in an ambulance for like an hour, and then my parents had to drive like 2.5 hours to come.
Ours were usually at like a
Get me.
college, so that was cool for us because we were going to college.
Yeah.
going to some college. We felt like we were eating in the cafeteria. It was like the coolest thing you could do back then.
Did they have an actual NBA player come to the
No,
camp?
no, we didn't have that.
Oh.
No, yeah, sometimes they have.
We had like a third stringer
Yeah,
from the
third
Wizards
guy,
or
yeah,
something.
yeah.
Yeah, it's still cool though. If you're a
Yeah.
kid,
Yeah.
he's like 7 feet tall.
exactly. At
Ours
least-
was
at least
5'8", but he
6'10".
could dunk.
He wasn't even on the Wizards. He was on the Wazards, another team down the road.
Yeah, no, camp was cool though. I like that stuff. I hope my kids do some. There is a camp like so. Obviously, with Alicia, there is a camp for autistic children. That's a sleepaway camp in like one of the Carolinas because one of the kids who's on our baseball team's like 13, and he's been going every summer and has a blast. And so that was one thing I really want her to be able to experience. And I know Katie will probably do it too. But I hope they'll do camp because I think socialization, all that's a little bit of independence and away from your parents.
Yeah.
So you would drive her to North Carolina,
So then you would drive down,
drop her off.
Yep.
And you would hang out in North Carolina for a
So
week.
they actually come back because I think it's a 2-week camp. So I think the first year they were nervous, so they actually stayed there and made like a little vacation for themselves.
Oh, okay. You
Just
would
in
come home.
case. So
I would do
they
that. I
were
would go down there, and
nearby.
hang out for a week, go out to Outer Banks, chill out for a week.
But my one buddy dropped his kids up to Vermont every year, and because this camp called Cabian, and that he would go to in the big hiking camp. They learn how to mountain climb. They learn how to do all that stuff. So it's a big part. I think it's a big part. I wonder if it'll go away.
I feel like as a society, our love for the outdoors is getting smaller and smaller.
Well, I think it depends where you live because like we are Northeast. So like
Yeah.
we just don't experience it as much. Cause like
Yeah.
I feel like most people I grew up with in Brooklyn and New York had no like desire. Like we had a house in Pennsylvania. So because of that, I was always outdoors in the summer. But if I wasn't, like none of my friends in Brooklyn knew what, sap on a tree was. Like
Right,
that
right.
wasn't a thing. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
so I think it just depends where you live. I bet Middle America's still camping and hiking and
That's a good point.
Yeah, it's true. I want to poll my kids next year at school and be like, how many of you guys went to like summer camp? And I'm sure there are a lot because, like you said, parents want out of the house. Like your mom wanted out of the house. I think I mean, at our kids' age, like all of our kids are relatively young. Like, I mean, 3 and 6 for you, right, Gasper? And then I'm 7 and 9, and then you're
8 and 4.
8 and 4. So they're at the age yet where at best we're going to do day camp.
Right.
But it'd be cool. How are you, Gasper? How are you doing to change it up a little bit? How are you doing with you being away? Because you're going to be out in California soon doing some shows, right?
so I'll be away this next July 10th through the 15th.
Yeah.
I'll be away. And then I'll be doing a show in LA Monday, San Diego Wednesday, Arizona Thursday, and then flying home Friday. So it'll be a adjustment, but I mean, my kids are good with this stuff. And also like I was trying to explain to my wife, because of course she's pissed. And and I'm like, the kids are gonna be in camp. You know what I mean? Like, so like you just have to get them to camp and then entertain them for a few hours at night. Like that's it. But
Entertain yourself. She entertain herself.
I was like, she don't care about that. I was like, you got 8 hours to yourself every day. I was like, this is actually your dream. You've always told me you want me to go out more. Now I'm away and you're not at work. So it works out. So it should be fun. I've never been to LA, so I'm excited about going out to LA. I've been to San Diego. San Diego's real nice.
I've been out there once when I was real young, so I have very few memories of. I went to like Universal Studios Hollywood. I remember going to. I sat in the Knight Rider car.
oh yeah.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, like in LA,
Firebird?
Go ahead, Gasper.
No, well, I was gonna say, so in LA, I was like looking at hotels, and my wife's like, "Oh, just splurge and get yourself a nice hotel." And I'm like, "No, I could get this one. It's like $110 like a night." Then I read the reviews, and it was like lined with heroin.
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh,
Yeah.
not even
you know
heroin
why that-
addicts, just heroin."
Now you know why it's $110.
Like-
Yeah.
Like you will get heroin in this hotel. Wait,
Nice
what?
for them to include it.
So, and like it
Under
was
the
like
pillow. They put it under the pillow.
one of the reviews was like, opened my door, someone fell into my room. So I was like, shit, like that could be fun in a way
Wow,
for the
that's
story.
cool.
But
What's behind door number 1?
I'm doing
No,
an
I'm
LA
behind door
immersive
number
experience.
1. What's on the
Oh,
other
yeah,
side?
you're door number 9. That guy was playing the game.
What's on the other side of my door?
What's on the other side of my
So,
I'm doing
so
this
it-
weird job where I lean up against guys' rooms in these hotels and fall in. Just like that. So it's
So I was just
I
like, you
auditioned for it. It
know,
worked
I,
out well.
I was like, I'm gonna just splurge and get a better hotel. So I'm in
Airbnb? You don't fuck with the Airbnbs?
Nah, I mean, honestly, I like the hotels because like there's stuff to do. Like I'm gonna be there for a few days. So like if you're in an Airbnb, you're just in your own little house. You know what I mean? At least
Yeah.
I'm in a hotel. Like, so at the hotel I'm in, there's music happening every night. They have a band, they have bands come every night and play in the lobby. So
Okay.
like supposedly it's like on top of being a hotel, it's also like a music venue that if you're a guest in the hotel, you have access to it.
That's
So like
pretty
right
cool.
there, I was like, that's kind of cool. Just like if I want to just like hang out around, you know, and meet people, talk to people. Cause like it's weird, like being on the road doing comedy. Like my wife's like, oh, you must have so much fun. You're all by yourself. And I'm like, I don't, because like I'm not gonna go up. First off, any woman I talk to, that's probably not gonna lead to anything good. So like, what am I gonna do? Just go up to someone and be like, hi, you want to be my friend? I'm a
Yeah.
traveling comedian and I'm here for the night.
It's cool for like the first hour.
Yeah,
for, like,
like
the first hour,
when I
like,
nap
freedom,
without
I
being
got my own
interrupted. Yes.
And then you're
But-
like,
Yeah.
everything on TV sucks.
Yeah, well, and that's the other thing. Like, I watch like the ESPN documentaries about like, you know, Warren Sapp post college. Like,
the
that's what I
American
watch in the
Gladiators and shit.
hotel. Like, you know, and I'm sitting there watching that. I eat, like, I ordered the room. I'm just, you're in, you know, you could walk around the city, but like, what am I going to go do? Tourist attractions by myself. You know, once in a while, I don't mind some of it, but like, it's kind of lonely, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
And you
I,
can-
I do shit by myself. I'm cool. I'm cool doing shit by
See,
myself.
I'm not. I suck at doing stuff by myself, as you
Yeah.
could tell.
I'd rather, I often have to force myself, but normally I'm like you guys, where I'd much rather hang in the room. Maybe I'll go down and see what's going on, or in the lobby if there is like a bar or something like that, hang out.
I
Yeah, and I'll
the
talk
thing
to
is,
people.
It's hard not to look like a creep when you're by yourself.
And that's
You know,
the thing.
let's keep it real. Like you walking in there to watch a band, you're standing in the corner
By
you're kinda
myself.
just like by yourself, and it's kind of hard to do that. But
I'm gonna be
I
on
remember when
someone's
I
Yelp
started doing
review.
things. Yeah, totally. Yeah, they could be reviewing the hotel. Like the vibe was cool, music was cool, creepy guy by the jukebox.
This guy
Spilled
didn't
his milk
stop
on me.
looking at us.
Yeah.
Jukebox. What year is it? No, I will say though, I feel like LA is like an out of town place though, right? I
sure.
feel
Like,
it's-
everyone there's not from there.
Yes, yeah, a lot of it. It's a lot of a lot of people in
Yeah, yeah.
town, but I mean, it would depend on the tourist stuff that you're into, I guess. Yeah, it depends. on
So
what you
you're
like.
right. So when but let's not use LA then. Like I was in Cleveland, right?
Oh, well,
And
that
it's not an
changed
out of town city. It's a who the hell are you in our
Yeah.
bar because we've never seen you before
never seen you
city.
before, and you're
So
by
like I
yourself.
was there and I'm just like, hey, and then like who do you talk to? You don't really go up to a group of guys and start talking because they're like, who the fuck are you?
Yeah.
And a group of girls are like, oh, creep by himself in a bar. Then when you start explaining why you're there, then you get like a whole different reaction of
Yep.
things. And it's like, it's really, I'm just like, my wife's like, oh, like you're back in the hotel already. I'm like, it's like 9:30. I'm like, yeah, I'm like, I don't really know what to do. I was like, I just got to get ready for my flight in the morning.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I have a couple coming out. I'll be up in like Syracuse and Rochester, and each of those I'll have a couple nights. But like, I don't know, you know what I mean? Like, what do you do in Rochester? You go get a
Now, I can
garbage
answer
plate?
that question for
Okay.
Rochester in the summer is upstate New York in the summer is badass. It's cool in the summer.
All right, what should I
But where
do?
you're gonna be, you're not gonna be because there's like lakes and shit. There's like stuff to do out there.
Yeah.
But you're in Rochester, you're
Oh,
gonna be
but
like
then I have to
downtown
like Uber.
Rochester.
Yeah, because I want to.
Yeah, you're not gonna
like, have my car.
Uber out the
everything.
Canandaigua Lake. That ain't
Yeah.
happening. You know what I mean?
No,
So
no.
you're not gonna enjoy it all that
I'll
much.
tell you what's in
There is not a lot going on
Rochester.
downstairs.
I was just there for the shows. There's a grave that they believe might have belonged to the person who they believed was Jack the Ripper. They think
Okay.
that he moved to America and died in Rochester. So I walked past his grave. Susan B. Anthony used a house there. She just
Okay.
briefly stayed in a house there. There's nothing to it. You just drive by it and they go, Susan B. Anthony stayed here. And
and you just keep on going around.
and that's it.
That's it. All right. Well,
and I was
There's a
there for
lilac. There's a flower thing. There's a lilac fest or some shit up in Rochester.
I was there in the winter. It was depressing.
Oh, in the winter, don't go to Rochester.
it was
in the winter,
depressing. Yeah.
There's
The
Park
shows
Ave
were good.
Fest.
The what?
Park Ave Fest in Rochester, New York. It's at the end of the summer.
Yeah.
That's a lot of fun.
Yeah, see, I didn't get that experience.
But it was also a lot of fun when I was 22. You go there now and you're by yourself at 30-something years old. No one's inviting you to their little porch parties and all that shit. You're
So,
just
well, you know,
another
it's
dude.
funny. So the hotel I stayed in was like the club has a hotel that they use, whatever it was, like a Radisson, but there was like a fancy steakhouse in it, right? So I went down to the bar and I'm like, oh my God, like this bar is just like filled with like beautiful women. And I was like, this is weird. Like, cause it just made no sense. It was like beautiful women like on their own in a bar. So then of course I start talking to everybody in the bar. I'm talking to the owner and he's like, yeah, this is a bar where like women know that this is like a hotel that people get put in for conferences, for comedy, it's like a rich people hotel. So the bar is frequented by these rich older men. So all these young women come and hang out to meet these rich guys.
Yeah.
And I was like,
Stay-
oh,
better
that
stay
makes
away.
sense.
Better stay away from them.
So I was like, oh, okay. Well, they're definitely not interested in me because I am not rich.
I am not
So,
yet.
Like people were down there in like Armani suits and I had on sweatpants. Like I was just hanging out. Like I was in my room and I was like, let me go down and get food. So I went down in my sweatpants. I was like, oh, there's a bar. Oh, look at all these people. Oh, I'm like, people were like dressed. And I had on sweats and a tank top.
You're like, you guys have any mozzarella sticks?
Yeah.
Send them up to the room. Give them the Mott sticks up to 303, would you?
Those little mini tacos.
I'm a big deal. I'm in town for a conference.
Doing comedy. None of you give a
That's
damn.
usually how it goes. You usually end up in some like weird town with not a lot going on.
Do you do you do you do a lot of FaceTime with your kids? Do well with FaceTime, or is it like mine or like a nightmare? It's like a 10-second endeavor. It's like I try to call every night.
They don't care.
They don't care.
Like,
I didn't. Yeah.
I know what you're saying. Like you FaceTime your kids, and it's like, how do you not get how this works? Like you guys, like you look at the screen, you talk to your old man. That's it.
Yeah.
No, they
It's always
walk
like
away with the
screens-
phone.
Yeah.
screens
Put it to their
moving all
ear.
over the place, like a fucking
Yeah.
and these noises I've never heard are coming out. Then the phone's face down somewhere, and I'm like,
To the
you look at
bathroom.
the screen, you talk to your dad, and then you get off the phone. This could be like 3
I
minutes.
gotta
and
say,
done.
as a non-child having person, I have noticed the amount of disrespect put to this action. I have noticed, like, just a kid gets on the phone and then all rules are off,
Yep.
and you're like, hey, respect your father right now.
Yeah, exactly. Like, hey, kiddo,
Look
I'm
at the
just trying
camera.
to find out today when if you get. And
Yeah.
it's like there's a dog barking. They're like, what the fuck?
It
You
is.
turn
don't
into
even
like
have
an
a
old,
dog.
Yeah.
You turn into like an old man, but with modern technology. You're like, hey, look at your father
Yeah,
in the face.
yeah. Jesus, hold the phone still.
Come
I'm
on now.
talking to you.
Speak with your
It's
chest.
the worst. It's the worst. I don't know why my daughters do the same thing. Like they know all kinds of things that I don't know when it comes to technology. But when it comes to just looking at the phone, having a conversation with a human, it's like fucking. It's like it all goes out the window.
And I think it's harder for like my wife. We went on this trip. We were taking students abroad, and we planned this every 2 years. So it was before she had gotten pregnant. We had planned the trip. Then Alicia was like 6 months old at the time the trip was happening. So Amanda decided she was going to still come with me. So
Wow.
so she stayed. They stayed with her, my mom and her mom, sort of, rallied the
team
troops
something.
for us for the 8 days that we were going. And the first time we FaceTime, Amanda like lost the rest of her day. Like she was just so
because
like just the emotional connection that I don't know. I don't want to say dads don't have that emotional connection. Like the thing that got me whenever even the last couple days I was away Tuesday to Saturday, and like the only thing that really got me is when I saw my wife like post something on my daughter, and she somehow looked older. It was silly. Like it was like 4 days, but like in that
they
post,
age at an alarming rate.
she looked older, or it was either the guilt of me not being there. I'm like, oh my, but I feel that's the only time I feel like a twinge of something is when I see her and I notice something different, even in like a short period of time.
My
you
wife
see- so
says
you
that's
see-
the guilt. She says
That's
it's the
probably
guilt.
what it is.
Like,
Yeah.
cause like I'll only be away 2-3 days at a time the most. And like, she's like, oh, like my son learned Fibonacci's code when I was gone. Like,
Yeah.
okay, sure. he just read the Da Vinci Code and now he's dissecting it. He's writing a dissertation.
yeah,
And
He's-
she's
he's
like,
now
well,
a
you
man
only,
scout. Yeah, you missed.
yeah,
it. He's a
she's like,
man
you only
scout.
feel that way because you were gone. I'm like, oh, stop.
Well, so but you see, okay, so you both see your kids every day. I don't see my kids every day. They don't live with me.
Okay.
A lot of changing can happen in like 6 days.
That's true.
Like that is so you leave and you can come back in 2 days and they will look noticeably different, taller, voice
Missing
maybe
teeth.
a little, maybe teeth, like something is different. Like, I see my girl and I'm like, oh wow, you got like 4 inches taller from like a week ago, and she's like, no, I didn't. And I'm like, you 100% did. fucking huge now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they do. You do miss a lot. I guess it's the age. It's that range where they're growing very quickly. But yeah, if you're
that
gone
makes
for a
sense.
week and you come back, they are kind of a different person.
Yeah, because
No, listen, I get it, but it's our own guilt. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
exactly.
Like,
I think you're right. Now you say that.
because the reality is, like, I FaceTime with them all day, but they don't want to FaceTime. Like, I wake up, I FaceTime them.
Yeah.
I do it. Like, even when I'm in California, I'll wake up at 4 a.m. I'll set my alarm so that I can FaceTime them before they go to
thing in the
school
morning.
or before they go to camp. Because if I wait till I wake up at 7, it's already 10. So I missed it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. that's
So
right.
like, you got those, and then like, so you got to like think about all that stuff, especially when you're like East West Coast traveling.
Yep.
It's a
Yeah,
bitch because like
exactly.
at least when you're on the East Coast, there's really no big deal. So
Yeah. No, you're right. That's
Yeah.
true.
Does the first day of school fuck you guys up?
well, I'm
mean,
part of it, so I have to
I know
go to
you.
work.
You guys are a little different
Yeah.
than I am.
Yeah.
The first day of school. Emotionally, I
Yeah.
lose it.
I think it's because I'm
I
so
get so
preoccupied
emotional.
myself with.
Yeah,
my
it
own
means
life.
nothing to me because it's my job.
Right.
Yeah, I can
You're like,
imagine
I'm
you-
back to work. God
Yeah.
damn it.
Yeah, you two, I can imagine, have very different. You're like, I'll see you fourth period.
Yeah,
Chill
yeah,
out.
right.
I know
Like,
where I work.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh,
Well,
dude, I am emotional. I am like a little bitch when it
Well,
comes
because
to the
you
first
go,
day of
you
school.
go and take. Did you
I wake
took-
up early. I go to Jersey. We walk to the school. It's right over there, and like every year, it's just a different vibe. You know, it's like probably next year she probably won't hold my hand when she walks to school. You know what I mean? Like, but it like just it's emotional. You know what I mean? It's like
Yeah,
wow,
that's
it's
cool.
another year. Here we go. And
Well, it's good to have those kind of traditions or something that like you do that. Like I like to have things that I just do with the girls that like maybe Amanda doesn't do with them, or I think I like having some of those kind of traditions too. I think it's important to have a relationship with your kid, even if you're married to the person versus like a
no, you have to
co-parent.
separate. Because like this year we went to school and I there's like kids they know the shortcut. You can walk through this and say. And she kept, and I made sure that we walked the long way because I wanted it to last as long as it possibly could. And she's like, we could just go this way. I'm like, no, we can't. That's not safe. We're going to go this way. We're going to wait
not
for the crossing guard to get his ass down here. We'll wait all day for him if we have to. Just because I wanted to enjoy it because I know it's not going to last forever.
You know what?
I
Ice
mean?
cream. Ice cream's better. Let's do ice cream, then we'll go to school. I think that's the.
Well, did you ever see like those like memes that it's like like when the last time you and your friends hung out outside, you didn't realize it was the last time.
Yeah.
And that's the truth, because like all of a sudden, like my son is like a grown up now. I feel like like he plays like Roblox online with his
goddamn
friend.
Roblox. Oh,
And
yeah.
so like, it's like things that like he used to be like, Dad, let's play PlayStation, Dad. Now he's like, oh, I'm gonna call Noelle. I'm like, nah, forget Noelle. Like, she sucks. But then at the same time, you're like, no, like you want them to call their friends because like I'd rather them have friends than I'll always be here, But like that, it also makes it easy because I'm like, all right, if my daughter naps, I could tell my son go play Roblox, and I could close my eyes or I could get something done.
Yeah.
Like, there's no chill with my daughter yet, but she's only 3.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she's adorable.
And Jay knows. My daughter calls Jay Bowser.
That's right.
so-
I'm Bowser.
My daughter's Princess Peach. My son's Mario, and Jay's Bowser.
There you go. All right.
Yeah, I
I
like
wonder
And
why.
Joe D is Luigi. They call him. I'm like, what about me? Like, I'm in this house. Like, why do I not have a role?
Yeah. You don't have a character?
No, it's just everybody else. Or I'm Toad sometimes.
Yoshi or some shit.
I'm Toad. I'm Yoshi. I'm the extra, the annoying ones.
Right.
You ever play Mario Kart? I miss now. Of
course.
You're saying all those character names, and now like reminds me of college, and we were like,
Oh,
play
Mario
so
Kart. That's
much.
like that was the game.
That was
like
that, and then Super Smash Brothers was the other one.
Super Smash for N64. Now they have it revamped for the Switch. So like back when you played it for Nintendo 64, I don't know if you did, right? I'm sure.
Yep.
It had like the 8 characters or 9. Now there's like 400 characters you could pick
wow.
from. It's like anybody who's ever been in the Nintendo world is in Super Smash
in the
Brothers. So it's pretty cool.
That's so cool. I love anytime there was like a cartoon or anything, and groups came together that normally weren't together.
Oh, that was
So
the
cool.
best.
That was awesome.
So cool.
Like those fighting games. They
Yeah,
would
where you could
occasionally
like the
have
Street Fighter
like
or
Marvel
Mortal
versus
Kombat guy.
Capcom.
Yeah.
Yes.
Remember that? Wolverine versus like Ryu.
Dude, any of those were cool, or even
Street
like I
Fighter was
remember
a
like
big game.
Scooby Doo. Every once in a while would have an episode where the Harlem Globetrotters. would
yeah,
be
yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah,
Batman
yeah.
and
Like the
Robin.
Flintstones and the Jetsons. I
Yeah,
think they did something like that.
Anytime those worlds came together, other things, you're like, whoa, they know each other.
Holy shit!
Did
This
you
is
guys
amazing.
hear about the it's like the baseball version of the Harlem Globetrotters They're
The
like the
Savannah
Savannah
Bananas.
The
Bananas.
dudes
Yeah.
were dancing around before they throw the pitches and
There-
shit.
yeah, like there's a fly ball and the guy does a backflip before
Yeah,
catching
yeah,
it,
yeah.
or like the pitcher winds up and he like leans to the right, leans to the left, and the whole team leans to the right, leans
They
to the
have
left, and he does a
dances.
cartwheel and throws the ball.
Yeah.
They play just like regular teams though, so like I don't really understand it. It's like the
Well, they're-
Scranton Yankees versus the Savannah Bananas, and like
do they really play regular? Because I thought they play. Because I know there's another team called like the Party Animals. Like a
Oh,
lot of
is
their
there?
videos, because they have specific rules. Like they are a 2-hour time limit. Like to get.
oh, is there? Because I only know because they're coming to Staten Island to play the Ferry Hawks, which is the
Oh, cool.
Staten
Well,
Island
they must branch out. That makes sense. But they do have specific rules. Like it's only going to be 2 hours. So they
well,
only
because
play,
I was
like,
thinking like,
7
how's it
innings.
not a balk? Like the guy's
Yeah.
like
Yeah, the guy's moving around like that.
backflipping
Yeah.
in the middle of pitching.
Yeah, that's
But-
right.
so I guess they do
Um,
extend it.
So and then and everything else is like they're playing real baseball, but yeah, they do these like such
dances and
audience
shit, yeah.
participation things.
Yeah, they're like
the
bringing people down to
walk-in
the field to
music.
run for them.
Yeah,
Like
they
weird,
do-
crazy stuff.
How dare
It's-
they try to make baseball more exciting?
There's
How
a
dare
guy. I
you.
follow one of the guys on
That's so
social
cool.
media. I forget what his name is. Like John Olson. It's Olson is his last name.
Is it the center fielder? Because he's like the one who does backflips and stuff like constantly.
I
well,
think
whatever.
he plays infield. No, I think this guy plays infield.
Yeah,
I guess they're all good at what they
Jackson
do.
Olsen.
Jack-
Now, that's
Jackson
kind of
Olsen.
crazy because like the Globetrotters are like pretty choreographed. right?
These
And
guys,
basketball's
these
an
guys
easy
are really
game.
like they're very like they practice their dances ahead of time. Like
No, I get that, but like basketball is an easy game to like throw some funk in there. Baseball, like the guy's got to hit a fly ball to center field and
For you
have
to
be
backflip.
Yeah, and you have to
Well,
be comfortable like tracking it, flipping, and still getting like.
yeah, so like those things
That's all
don't those
different.
but like the pitcher sometimes what'll happen is like all of the infielders will come behind the pitcher and they'll do a choreographed dance.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden he throws it mid choreographed dance for a strike.
To like catch him off guard.
yeah.
But the thing is, like, I don't know if the other team's in on it because I get what you're saying. Because
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
basketball, I can just oops, I passed it the wrong way. Like in baseball, like if you can't hit a 99-mile-an-hour fastball, you can't.
You're right, it's
Like,
not working.
I
They-
could do a backflip maybe, but I can't hit a 99-mile-an-hour
well, then you'll
fastball
never make it. You'll
to
never
the
make
third
it.
baseman and then do a cartwheel up the
Right.
It's not that easy.
And the Globetrotters, they only play one team.
Yeah.
Do
play
they?
the
No,
New
they
York
play
General-
whoever- I thought
New York
it-
Generals are. It's
So
usually
they
the-
always play the Washington Generals.
is that Washington Generals? Is that what they're called?
But I think that's what this sort of is because I think that Party Animals is the other team.
the other
except
team
for
that the really good team plays.
if a team like I guess the Staten Island team.
yeah,
is on.
I guess that could just be like a fundraiser,
Well, the,
right?
the
Like
other thing is
Staten
they have
Island
other
Yankees.
things planned. Like if a guy gets hit by a pitch, he falls down like he's dead, and then 4 guys come and
Pick
carry
a
him
stretcher
limb
or
by limb
something.
and carry him up. Like so, they have like if this happens,
If
this
it gets
is what
too
we
real,
do.
it's like
Yeah, I think they just pick spots to have fun with.
Yeah,
They charge the mound and everybody
Yeah.
just starts stabbing the pitcher.
yeah,
Yeah, some of the pictures. Oh, some of the pictures I brought up for people at home. That
yeah.
they,
Welcome to New York.
yeah, hey.
But now, wait, so the Globetrotters, what I understand about the Globetrotters, because I just looked this up recently, or I was asking somebody about, they play the Washington Generals, and they're like the B squad of the Globetrotters. So like the
Right,
Globetrotters
yes.
will always win. And then
Yes.
like your goal is to like get good enough on the Generals to make it to the Globetrotters.
Exactly.
So and then like the
Leader.
new so like they're the minor leagues, the Generals, the Globetrotters are the majors. They'll always win the Globetrotters. And it's like pretty staged, but like as staged as sports can be, because I could stage it all I want, but you know, even Michael Jordan missed shots. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Yeah.
So like I guess it's the same thing. Like this is what we do in this situation, and you know,
Yeah.
crawl through my
like,
leg.
they know like after halftime we're gonna do that thing where Sweet Lou's gonna dribble
Yeah.
and slide and slide and slide, and then he's gonna pants the guy when he shoots a free throw.
But that,
It's like-
yeah,
Yeah.
that Jackson Olsen guy reveals a lot. That's why the only reason I know is because he has some TikToks where he breaks down like what the rules are. So like they do play baseball, but they have.
Well, you have to be good at baseball to do it. I mean, you really.
you have to be pretty good at baseball to like.
No, I would say
fuck
you have
around
to
at
be
baseball,
really
right?
good at
Yeah,
it. You know what I
to
mean?
then start
Because-
messing around in it.
Yeah, like if you could do a backflip while tracking a ball in center field, like you're not just like an average
Yeah.
center fielder.
Yeah.
Like you have tremendous ball tracking skills at
Yeah,
least.
and, yeah, exactly. Like,
100%. Yeah, no, it's cool. I want to go to one of the games. Like I'm dying to.
Well,
when are they
well, that's
coming?
what I was saying. They're coming to Staten Island, but it's sold out like within
Oh,
minutes
yeah.
of them posting
Scranton,
it,
I'm
which
sure
I
they'll
thought
be in
was crazy.
Scranton. I'm sure they'll be in Scranton or Trenton doing
Yeah,
that
I gotta
shit
find.
somewhere.
Yeah, I gotta find it because that's I would love to go to one of their games. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
I go, speaking of baseball, Laney plays softball.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god, dude! I want to see these guys play. Like watching like the young girls play softball. It is a very tough game to watch. Like I really enjoy watching her because she's like getting better and stuff. But it's a tough game to watch. Like
Kids
like,
sports is
mayhem.
tough to watch.
It's mayhem. You know, the ball goes over here. They can't throw it over there, and they're running around. The one girl's not paying attention. The other girl's. I mean, I think that's all sports, but it's tough to
Like
watch.
so watching like t-ball I was coaching varsity baseball for years, and like we were state runners up in like in '09, like so we were coaching a high level of baseball, and now I'm watching my daughter play t-ball, and like if they got an actual out, that was like Haley's Comet. Like there was
My daughter got one of the only outs I've ever seen. Grounded a ball and just kind of underhand tossed it to the first base.
Nice.
And it
unheard
worked.
of.
My nephew,
Unheard
I
of.
think, peed in the outfield when he was like, no joke. Like, yeah, if you want to talk about that was the best part, I think.
So my son was at second, shouldn't be there, and he's just spinning. He's just with his arms out, no, his gloves in his hand. He's just holding it and he's spinning.
Nice.
The other second base, there's two second bases. The other one's just facing the outfield. So my son's spinning, the other one's facing the outfield. The ball gets hit in between the two of them. So everyone's yelling, Gasper, Charlie, get the ball, yelling their names.
they're like,
Neither of them reacted. So finally, Charlie goes, oh, shoot. The other kid gets the ball, walks to it, gets it. We're yelling, Gasper, run to second. My son runs to second and falls because he's dizzy. So now he's just laying on the floor by second base. The kid, Charlie, just spikes it like a football, and the ball slow rolled to my son, who just so happened to be laying there, and it hit him in the chest, and my son just picked up the ball, and they got the kid out because the kid who was on first base didn't run.
Didn't know to
So
run.
it was like literally everyone was like, wait, good play?
I guess, right?
Like,
I guess.
whatever works. Good job, guys.
You get out the way the way you get outs. I get the way outs the way I get outs.
I do,
And my
I do
son had
like
no
the-
clue. My son had no clue. He was like,
That was
good
like the play
play.
of the year. That was like because they never. They can hit the ball.
the best part.
Fielding for the girls.
We were like,
they can
good
all
play.
hit it, but fielding is a trophy.
Yeah. No,
But-
the hitting's nice though. He can hit the coach pitch,
Yeah.
which is cool.
And then
So-
you get a slice of gluten-free pizza at the end. Everybody's a winner.
Boom.
I look forward to that's what I want. I look forward to the days of like. So right now, Lainey does soccer and softball. Of her decide, I hope she decides that she wants to get good at one, and then like we can like.
Doesn't always work like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna.
I
ask,
wanted to
but-
be good at football. It just didn't happen.
But like that, we can work together. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
all right, I'm gonna throw these up, and you gotta hit them all to
Yeah.
right field, hit them to left field. This is a bunt. Run through the thing. This is how you run. I look forward to that because I like shit like that. You know what I mean?
My youngest already gave up baseball, switched to deck hockey, and she was good at baseball. And she's like, she didn't want to play anymore, so she went to deck hockey. So it's okay. I learned how to slap shot. I'm getting pretty good. I feel good about it.
But you know what? Like I remember as a kid just standing on the side of my house by myself. But this is also a generational thing. Like we didn't have what they have. I remember with a baseball, I would throw it against the net and it would come back and I would just over and over again make backhand catches.
Yeah.
Plant my foot, throw the ball at the net, and do like Derek
again.
Jeter, bottom of the ninth, like
That's it.
just made the game-winning play. And I would do it over and over. I can't even
Yeah.
picture kids today. Like you see the occasional kid shooting a basketball at the hoop
So rare.
outside,
So
but it's rare.
They want it organized.
Well,
Yeah,
like you live in New York, so you probably see more of it than we do. But you drive by a park and it'll just be empty.
Yeah, no, it's
It'll
pretty
just
empty
be-
here too. It's
Is it empty there?
Kids
Yeah.
aren't rushing to parks anymore to play.
The grown-ups
sports.
are there playing ball.
Yeah,
Yeah,
grown-ups.
there's more grown-ups there.
People
playing ball.
our
The
age
kids
are
not.
playing
They're-
still.
Yeah, the kids are not into it. It's
yeah, that's
kinda
what I was.
sad.
I was in my backyard with the ball. We talked about this. One of the best things, we got a patio set. One time we took the box and cut out a strike zone, and I put it in the yard and just pitched to the box and just went at it for hours. That was
By
just
yourself?
by myself. Just
No,
by-
so I'm saying like I would honestly throw a baseball against the side of my house and make that Derek Jeter play like I was 8 years old still because
Yeah.
it was so fun. And I feel like that's what made me a good fielder today. Like I'm still
course, of course,
really
you're getting
good at
reps in.
fielding because I did thousands of reps in my backyard.
exactly.
Thousands. Like I look back and I was out there for hours because we were in the middle of Pennsylvania. We didn't have phones. We didn't have internet. We had nothing. I was just throwing a ball against the house.
Well, what's the move there as a parent? Are we saying we want our kids to be outside more?
Of course.
Hell yeah.
Right.
Now Lainey goes outside a lot. They play outside. Like now she's in a frisbee. All right.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
just
yeah.
throw a frisbee around. But Just yeah. But
well, then it's just
My
trying
daughter digging for worms is like the.
There you go.
My daughter go
There you go.
outside.
see,
and
that's
look
a
for
scout
worms.
path. That's a scout path.
great activity. Actually, worms are very expensive. So tell her
She's
to
on her
keep
way
doing
to
that.
Woman Scout.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll tell you what, Neil. You don't have kids. Like if you walk into a room or in a situation and your kids are like buried in a TV or a
Right.
tablet, for me anyway, part of me goes, "What am I doing wrong? Like,
Right.
how did it get like this? Like, what? How did
Well,
I
we were
contribute
like,
this?
I mean, but it's not like we weren't sitting
Right,
in front
'cause we
of
had
a
Game Boys and Game
Nintendo
Gears and 64s and all that stuff, too.
Yeah, as long as that's not the only, thing they're doing. Or when we had a guy on, Vishnu was on, he would talk a lot about having a little bit of structure. Like when he gave his kids a smartphone, they only had it for when they were out of the house. So when they got home, they had to turn it in.
Yeah.
He had to do an hour of exercise, had to do an hour of homework, and then they could go back to doing whatever. So as long as my girls are playing with dolls and reading books and
Yeah.
going out
Sure.
for picking worms, like then I'm cool with them using a screen because I don't want them to not know how to use.
No, of
technology.
course. And then they'll fall behind because the whole world is doing it. So
Right,
like
right,
you don't
right,
want them to never do it. And then they're like, oh, I have no idea how to work a phone when everyone else does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So-
I think it's moderation. You figure it out.
When I was younger, it was like we did at the end of the night was the video games.
Yeah.
You did that
Yeah.
at nighttime. That was the video game time. During the day, you were out.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
makes sense.
You were out. You're riding a bike. You're playing basketball. You're at camp.
Yeah.
And then you did the videos.
We've talked about it a lot. It's come up, and I think it's to the point where now, do you guys think you would, if it becomes a problem, you would only? I think that's what my sisters and stuff are starting to do with or did do. They would just limit the amount of access. They're just like, hey, you only have it for 2 hours.
We set like on their tablets,
That's
they
just
have
it.
timers for the earliest they could be on it, the duration, and then the latest that
It's a
could
lot to be
it.
on top of.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah,
like,
but-
but then you could just set it, and
Right.
it's like it is what it is,
Nice.
and so
Okay.
I mean,
so now they know they
What
can't
sport
be on
do
it.
you, if you could, like you were talking about what sports, and I know you're a big baseball fan, and Gasper, it sounds like you dig baseball as well, but I don't want to speak for you, but what sport do you hope? Is there a sport you just hope they get into? You played it, you want them to play it. I know none of you guys are those parents, obviously, but like if they were like, oh, yes, she's into it. Like, yes. Would you be pumped more so than others?
I'd like her to not, because I grew up playing basketball. I would like her to not play basketball.
Ah, see, there we go. Okay.
Because I'll be too involved and I'll be too, not involved, but I'll be too like
Right.
always coaching and maybe talking over the coach metaphorically or talk. You know, I know coach said this, but he really doesn't know. You should really be doing this.
Yeah.
I think I would
Too
be
big
a
of a
little
temptation for you, almost.
I'd be
Yeah.
like a little. I'd probably take it to like a negative place to make her
Okay.
like not like it. So
Yeah.
not basketball.
Gasper, do you have anything?
Honestly, whatever. Like my son marches to the beat of his own drum, so whatever he likes. Like I guess like my big favorite sport is football, but unfortunately, like football is just like being phased out of this world with
Right.
kids with youth sports. So like I don't know if my son would play football, and I don't think he's really like tough enough, honestly, to play football. My daughter might be tough enough.
What are they doing for football now for youth?
Like, I mean, they do
still,
flag football. I think.
Yeah,
they're still
they
wearing
do
helmets
play-
and stuff, like
They
Pee Wee
do
and small
Pee-wee.
fry.
They
still
do
goes?
Pee-wee.
Yeah, but they're wearing like the padded helmet with the
A helmet with like pads on the outside, right?
pads on the outside, pads on the inside, and it's
inside.
still two-hand touch. It's a different world, and I don't know.
Does that scare you as a parent? Like your kid, you're like.
So the
I
thing,
personally
I
don't
played.
think that they can cause enough damage at that age.
So I played football my whole life, right? My wife, my brother, everybody's like, "Oh, you can't put your kid in football." Kids don't start hitting hard that they're gonna like concuss you until like high school. So like if he played youth football now, where they tackle each other by two guys running half speed,
and bouncing off each other.
bouncing, standing straight up, and they
Yeah.
just kind of fall. I don't think that's the worst thing in the world. Now, I remember playing in high school, and I got like rocked for the first time when my helmet was sideways, and I probably got concussed like doing a drill. It wasn't even in the game; it was a drill, an in cone drill where you run in the cone and try to,
You can't get out,
and you just got to take the hit. And this kid like dislocated my face, and I was like, this is pretty fucking dangerous. Like
Yeah,
I'm
you're like, oh, that's a
I'm
real
not
hit.
I'm not built for that. Like, but in elementary school, like you were fine, So like, whatever.
Yeah, I don't care. I don't care what that. I mean, even if they don't do sports, I'd love to see my daughters do acting or. I mean, I did
You
a
just
little bit
the
of everything.
passion.
growing
Just
up.
be passionate
Yeah.
about something, right? That's
Like-
what I really want.
Like my son plays chess, and he goes to
Yo.
chess lessons, and he loves chess. And his
Laney
chess
plays chess.
teacher wants him to do competitions. So I'm like, if he did chess, like you're gonna go further in life being great at chess than you are, unfortunately, in football, because
Yeah.
genetically, like me and my wife together are 5'6", 5'6". You know, I'm 5'6". My wife's 4'11". So what's he got? 5'3" going for him?
Right,
5'4".
right.
So like
Yeah.
he's not making it in the NFL probably. So I'd rather him be smart and play chess.
Who
Well,
taught
yeah.
who taught him to play chess?
He
learned
went
at
to
school?
lessons. Yeah, he went to
Oh,
lessons.
he went to chess lessons, learned,
And-
and likes it.
He wanted to do it. We put him in lessons and he loved it. And he just flourished. So we left
That's
him in it.
amazing. Well,
Yeah.
that's
Lainey loves chess. She doesn't take lessons. She loves chess, and I help her when I'm okay. I'm not good at chess. I'm okay, but she loves it. She can't
That's
stop
good.
playing.
I mean, the concept of thinking a few steps ahead. I mean,
Yeah.
those are skills that are going to transfer.
So
Yeah, it's really cool, man. Dude, I'm so glad you were able to join us today. I
yeah,
feel like-
thank you. I have to actually get going. I got to get on my
Yeah,
hike.
so I wanted to give you a
Oh, you
chance
got
to
the hike.
plug. Yeah, I want to give you a chance to plug something before you head out.
Yeah, so I got shows coming up. I will be in I don't know when this episode comes out.
I'm thinking it's going to be July 9th.
Okay, perfect. So on July 10th, I'll be in Hollywood. I'll be in San Diego. July 12th, I'll be in Arizona. July 13th, I'll be in Bridgeport, Connecticut. July 19th, I'll be in Philly. July 26th, I'll be in Queens, New York. The 3rd, I'll be in New Brunswick, New Jersey. August 16th, Long Island, New York. August 18th. Jay will be on about a half a dozen of those shows
That's right.
with me. So it'll be a good time.
Oh, and your podcast too with Joe D.
I also have a podcast called the Soul Studies Podcast with me and Joe Dombrowski. You can find that on all podcast stuff, and you can get tickets to my show at GasperRandazzo.com and go to my Instagram at standuprandazzo.com. So thank you guys for having me.
Dude, we're
Thanks for
so
hanging
glad.
out,
Go
man.
get that hike in. All
Enjoy the
right.
hike.
Yeah,
brother.
yeah. I'm going to feel it tonight when I'm cramping.
Stretch. Get those New Balances laced up.
Yeah. Well, I'll go mow my lawn first. All right. Thank you guys for having me. See you later.
see ya.
Thanks,
dude.
man.
Seriously, Dad? Seriously?
Thank you for listening to the dads, for once. Give these daddies a break. And maybe follow, subscribe, like, and comment to the dads on Instagram and YouTube at Seriously Dad Pod. Rate and review Seriously Dad Podcast on Spotify, iTunes, Amazon Music, and everywhere you get your podcasts.
Seriously, Dad?
How you doing? This is Neil Wood from the Cult of Us podcast, speaking on behalf of Drop 10 Media Network, the network you're currently listening to. Make sure to check out all the other podcasts on the network. You can go to drop10.com to check them all out. Make sure to like, subscribe on everything that you see Drop 10 on. We appreciate it. Go to drop10.com now.
This has been a Drop Tent Media Production.